Now, even if you only dabble with sourdough baking, this is a dish you've got to try. The juices from the lamb, the spices and the vegetables bake themselves right into the top of this sourdough. And when you wrap that up with the onion, the lemon and the parsley, you've got this little stick of dynamite. Now, some people call this a Turkish pizza or a cheeseless pizza. I don't think it's either of these. And while I might butcher the pronunciation, I'm going to call it by its proper name, LAHMACUN. So into my bowl goes 205 grams of water, followed by 80 grams of very active and bubbly sourdough starter. Now, don't forget, the full recipe is available on the website and is linked in the video description. Now, I'll be using 310 grams of flour in total for this recipe. I'm adding 80 grams to the bowl now and blending the mixture with a spoon. Adding a small amount of flour now makes it easier to dissolve and break down the starter. In goes 7 grams of salt, and after another quick blend with a spoon, I'm going to be adding the remaining 230 grams of flour. Now, you don't need to add the flour in 2 stages, but this will help if you're shooting for a smoother consistency when you dissolve the starter. Now, after another quick stir with a spoon, I'll use my wet hand to bring the dough together. Now, at this stage, we're just going to make sure that all of the ingredients are really well combined, that there aren't any dry spots. We aren't looking to create a smooth dough just yet. Now, my kitchen is 18 degrees Celsius today, and this bowl is going to get covered, sit out at room temperature to rest. After 30 minutes, we can turn the dough out onto the work surface, and already the dough feels more manageable. I'm going to give this a very quick knead just to make sure that everything is nice and smooth. Now, I'm not worried about stretching and folding this particular dough. I don't need to build lots of strength, as the dough is going to be rolled out flat before baking. I'm going to ball the dough up and I'm going to leave it in the bowl covered at room temperature to bulk ferment. And the time this takes will be dependent on your kitchen temperature and the liveliness of your fermentation. So it's been 6 hours and I am ready to shape. I divide the dough into 4 dough balls, each weighing 150 grams. You don't need to weigh these, you can definitely eyeball it. I wipe a touch of olive oil on the inside of my plastic containers and then shape each piece of dough into a ball. Place them into the container and cover them. These are going to sit out on my work surface for the next 2 hours and then go into the fridge covered until I'm ready to cook them tomorrow. Now I'm going to prepare the topping. Now, I've eaten LAHMACUN many times and each of them it's been a little bit different. So this is my creation that includes all of the ingredients that I absolutely love in this dish. And first I'm going to get some lemons cut up, and plenty of them too. I'm going to finely slice a red onion and season that with sumac, and we'll use the lemon and the onion right at the end to add a little bit of magic to these flatbreads. Now, in my food processor I'm going to blend a slightly long sweet red pepper, a small slightly spicy green pepper, a white onion and 3 cloves of garlic. Now, I don't overblend the veggies, otherwise they turn to mush and lose a ton of water. Bring the mixture together in a bowl with a touch of Turkish chili flakes, some salt and some black pepper. Now I'm going to add about a tablespoon of homemade tomato and pepper spicy sauce, but you could use freshly grated tomato or store-bought pepper paste or a combination of both. Now, I want this mixture to taste slightly over-seasoned at this stage. Then, after I've added the lamb, it should be spot on. And onto the lamb. Now, I would suggest speaking to your butcher and getting some minced lamb for this recipe. Now, it can be a bit tricky here to find minced lamb, so I'm going to use 350 grams of lamb shoulder and I'm going to mince it with my knife. Now, I'm chopping a generous handful of flat leaf parsley, which I'm going to add to my bowl with the veggies and the minced lamb. I'm going to give everything a really good mix and we are pretty much ready to cook. Now, the dough has come straight out of the fridge. It's cold and it's easy to roll and a lot less likely to stick. Now, if the dough gets a little bit tight and starts to recoil back while you're rolling it out, cover it and leave it alone for a couple of minutes just to relax. Now, I'm going to roll my dough into an oval shape. You can roll it round, oval. It really doesn't matter. I promise you it won't affect the taste. But you do want the dough to be rolled quite thin. And before you add the topping, we need to make sure that we've laid down some flour under the base because we do not want this to stick. Now, we're going to press the topping down quite firmly into the dough, but we need to be careful not to tear it. I prefer pushing this topping to the edge. It will stop the crust puffing up, but I'm more about the topping on this one. Now my oven has been preheated to its maximum temperature of 250 degrees Celsius or 480 degrees Fahrenheit. I've placed a baking steel towards the top of the oven. Now in the recipe that's linked below, I will give you some other ideas for oven setups. Now carefully but confidently pull that dough onto your peel and then slide it straight onto your baking steel or stone. Now depending on your oven setup, bake times may well vary, but this took exactly 8 minutes in my oven. Now the crucial step, add lots of flat leaf parsley, whole, not chopped. Lots of red onion that's been seasoned with the sumac, and of course plenty of fresh lemon juice. Roll it up, eat it like a pizza, it really doesn't matter. Either way, this tastes absolutely awesome. The flavours from the vegetables, the lamb and the spices soak right into the top of that sourdough. It really is pretty special. Give it a go. Let me know what you think. And if you want to see the difference between a no-knead sourdough and one that's been stretched and folded, then check out this video here. A huge thank you for watching. I'll see you again very soon. Stay tuned and let me know what you think to that LAHMACUN.